had to tell him today. He does a good job on cleaning it. When I was walking up the steps, his shoes were squeaking. It's so freaking clean. It's good. Oh, I agree.
I didn't. Plum.
Share your data. Oh wait, maybe I'll put it here. Soccer. How are you?
I was doing good. I got
No, usually they don't want to. Usually those are where they
How many are you in?
can get a little too contentious.
Exciting that. Well, not having that.
Yeah, Jim.
Who's going to be your quarterback? Who do you want?
Jim.
Hey, we all set, guys?
You guys, yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, you do a good one.
You ready?
Okay, good evening. We're going to call the September 3rd workshop council meeting to order. We're going to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, Mr. Sabosley, take over. Okay, thank you, Mr. Dern. Tonight is the agenda meeting for the September council meeting. We are delayed 2 days due to the Labor Day holiday. So we have a number of items here, starting with planning and economic development. Item number 1 is the Aber-Scott plan of lots. This plan was accepted by council as complete at the August meeting. And I'm going to have DJ talk about this. It's a little complicated here. There's a lot going on, but at the end of the day, DJ, we're going to end up with a number of more buildable lots where the owner proposes to sell them to build houses, correct?
Yes, that's correct. The plans basically, there's 2 existing lots along Scott Road. The back halves of those 2 lots are being cut off to create 2 new lots. So going from 2 lots to a total of 4, but there's no public utility extensions, no public or private road extensions, or creation of new public or private roads. So it's a relatively simple plan in concept. Like Dave said, it's a little more complicated when you look at it on the plan, but the recommendation would be to move ahead with a positive vote on this one, conditioned upon KU's review letter and the completion of a sewage facilities planning module.
How many houses?
2 new. 2 existing will remain on 2 lots, and there'll be 2 vacant lots for building later.
Any other questions or comments? So I believe that there are some outstanding issues still. KU Resources issued a letter dated August 11th, and staff would recommend that any approval that council would have would be contingent upon the applicant answering the questions put forth by the borough engineer in their letter of August 11th.
And in addition, if I didn't speak in the microphone, I apologize. In addition to that would be the approval of the sewage facilities planning module, creating the 2 additional lots.
I have a question. This doesn't create a private road, does it? I can't see
It does not, and DJ will be the first to tell you, and we've had a lot of discussion about this based on other projects. Anything that creates or disturbs the public roadway, it would be a major subdivision. This is not going to touch Scott Road. There will be driveways, I think, DJ, off of Scott Road, but the road itself will not be altered.
Yeah, all 4 lots will access Scott Road.
Okay, any other comments or questions? Okay, agenda item. Item number 2 is an executive session item, and I will note that council did meet for an executive session prior to this meeting at 6 o'clock to discuss these executive session items, the first of which was a personnel issue related to our third-party building inspection agency, Bureau Veritas. Moving to personnel and management, item number 3 is also an executive session item dealing with public works personnel issues. Item number 4 is also an executive session item dealing with police personnel issues. Item number 5 is the 2026 mandatory employee contribution, which is for the most part for the police pension. So you're going to see down below in finance, item number 10, we're going to talk about the police MMO. But just as a standard practice, and we started doing this last year, it was required, but for some reason we weren't formally doing it by resolution. So the police pension fund is pursuant to Act 600. Act 600 provides for monthly payments to the police pension fund, an amount that council sets every year. And we're going to talk about, like I said in item number 10, the MMO and the contribution. The actuary has sent a letter to us, and his recommendation is to continue with the 5% contribution. So police officers will contribute 5% of their wages toward their pension plan. So there will be a resolution on the agenda for next week to set those contributions at 5% like we've been doing for a number of years.
Questions or comments?
It hasn't gone up or down, it's stayed the same.
No, the actuary is pretty much flat at 5%. Yeah.
Okay, agenda item.
Item number 6 is also an executive session item as it deals with personnel issues related to civil service rules and regulations and the proposed adoption of an ordinance to modify those rules and regulations. Item number 7 and 8 are public safety issues related to the volunteer fire department and the repair of their vehicles. If you look in your OneNote document, Mike Whitico has presented to you, I'm trying to find them here, give me 1 second. Unity Fire Department has submitted, a number of things for repair. So since 2023, the borough has been paying 100% of maintenance items, and I do apologize, for some reason I can't find this in my OneNote document. Does anyone else see?
Yeah, hold on a
Mike's,
second. I have it here.
I see MMO, real estate tax reports. I don't know why I don't see it. I'm in the right month here too. Anyway,
Here.
yeah. So I'll find my own.
Didn't Nikki's email?
Yeah.
Yeah, right there.
Yeah. So yeah. Thank you. I don't know why I don't see this here. So Unity has submitted a bill for maintenance in the amount of $2,212, which will be paid in full by the borough. They've also submitted a repair bill outside of the maintenance for about $6,500, which would be split between the borough and the fire department. So the borough would pay about $3,200 and Unity would pay $3,200. So just this year we've started doing these as approvals by borough council, and just wanted to bring those 2 items to your attention as agenda items for next month, or next week.
Okay, any questions?
Have we moved forward with a policy on that?
We're still working on that
Okay.
in order to clarify it, but for now, we're continuing with, the 1 or 2 sentences that we've relied on for this policy as far as maintenance versus repair. But we are working on that, yes.
Okay, any other comments or questions? Okay, 7 and 8 will be agenda items.
Let's see. Item number 9 is a request for a special use permit. So every year, the Gamma Sports Organization, located here in Plum Boro, does a baseball tournament in October. It seems a little cold to be doing a baseball tournament in October, but softball. So they've done this for a number of years, and over the last 3 or 4 years, we've had this special use permit, which they've filled out. So they did submit something to us asking for 3 days for this tournament. Rich Lang is the contact person, and this is 3 days he's looking for it. The problem is, and I've talked to Mr. Lang, the middle day, the Saturday that he's requesting it, we have a pavilion rental down at Plum Creek. And in my mind, it's just not right to dump a softball tournament around someone's birthday party, someone's graduation party, whatever it is, in that area. So I went back to Rich and said, hey, we'll move your application forward for the Friday and the Sunday, and then for the Saturday, we'll let you use field 7 and 8 because they're out of the way and they won't interfere. He was good with that, and he thanked me for working with him. He is asking for an additional field on Saturday for field number 3. I'm sort of working with him right now on that, but staff recommends that we make this an agenda item and you approve his request for the use of it. I'll continue to work with him on the field number 3 issue. And the sole issue is the parking. If people are playing on field 3, and I really can't tell, he can't tell, where will people park? Will they park at the old Boro site? And the field is right there. I would park there, but I don't know if other people would park down by field 5 where the pavilions are. And for all I know, by the time he needs that field in the evening, that party could be over. So we're recommending this be an agenda item, and staff will continue to work with Mr. Lang on finalizing the fields for his permit request.
And a comment on that, I know Rich, we can, working with him, advise him to make a sign and put there at the entrance to 5. If you're playing on field 3, please park up there.
Okay.
But most people that are coming to this tournament are teams that return year after year.
Okay.
This is something he does every fall. It's a
Yes.
fundraiser.
Yes.
So I don't see a problem with parking up. I think most people, like if he marks that field 3 and puts a sign there at the concession stand, parking for field 3, the majority of people will see that. And you're gonna have people here most of the day on, is it Saturday you said?
Saturday, yeah.
Yeah, so most people stay the whole day.
Yeah, and the concern was that
Yeah.
the baseball tournament would start and the people would arrive for the rental and not even have a place to park.
Right.
So
Yeah, I'm in agreement with
I
that.
did recommend to him next year that he hustle in January, February to make his application before we open the pavilions for rental.
I will talk to Rich. I'll see him this weekend.
Dave, is he okay? I know we discussed the dumpsters and that. Is there extra dumpsters needed for this?
Yeah, so there will be an extra dumpster, which last year, he picked up the cost for that.
Okay.
We're trying to determine whether or not we'll need an extra cleaning of the porta-johns.
Yeah.
But we were upfront with him that he would have to deposit that money with us prior to his event, and
Perfect.
there don't seem to be any problems there.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
So if I rented this pavilion, whether there's something going on or not, do we have because that's an area where other people can show up, do you have private party rented so people don't come?
We don't, and for the most part, if someone else showed up to play at the park there, it's going to be a family or two. And there are other pavilions there. You could walk up to that pavilion and not have a permit and use it, right? All the permit does is it assures you the use of that pavilion. So other people could show up. There could be other people parked there. I don't think there would be enough people that show up on a Saturday in October that they're not going to have a place to park. But I do have concerns if they were to use field number 5 that they would have no parking.
Well, do you think in the future that we could create a sign just to let people know this was rented private party? Because it could be anywhere in Plum.
We could, and unfortunately I think that people would still park there. I think the solution really for Rich, which isn't your issue, so for Rich in the future that he apply for this
Right.
before we open the rentals. But yeah, I can't keep people.
No,
keep
I'm
people
not
from parking
asking you
there.
to do that, but I'm saying
Yeah.
just as a courtesy so people know.
Sure, we
Because
could.
if I come, I wouldn't know that's a private party. I mean, rented.
Well, I can tell you, when I was running that softball league, we had the same problem several times, and we tried putting up tape and stuff it doesn't work. I mean, we tried to keep it for the people running.
That's I'm with Dave. I've been down there multiple times that people have had a permit and there's people using it and it gets ugly. So
Well, I mean, and I can see it because you're paying for it and you expect to have your
Yeah.
people there. And
I think what we're doing here is good. Rich is working with it, and Rich has shown that the people that are his parents on that team, I don't believe his team plays that weekend. So all his parents are there to do field maintenance, garbage, and everything else. So I'm sure that if Mr. Sabosley goes over what we'd like to see done, Rich will have no problem doing that.
Yeah, but maybe we should talk about that in a future date.
Okay, any other questions or comments on agenda item number 9 for this field permit? Okay, that'll be agenda item.
Item number 10 under finance is the 2026 MMO, or the minimum municipal obligation for the pension funds, and Jim's going to walk us through that.
Sure. So by law, every September, every municipality is required to adopt their MMO. So it's essentially the minimum amount that the borough has to contribute to keep the employee pension funds financially sound, and it's calculated based on an actuarial report, as you heard Dave speak on earlier. Takes into account things like payroll, expected retirements, investment returns, etc. And once it gets adopted, it sort of sets the baseline for what we're obligated to budget for pension in the upcoming year. So that must be adopted by resolution next week. And the numbers, so the actuarial calculation, you always get 2 numbers to choose from, and I sort of let the finance director weigh in on that for the most part, but the one number is 1.03 million on the police side, and the second number is 1.12 mil. We're still discussing, which one we'll go with. Essentially, it's all in when you include the police calculation and our obligations for public works and administration. It's always about 1.5 mil, and I looked at that for the previous 3 MMO adoptions, and that's really the all-in number each year.
And what this does is we will make in 2026, based on the approved MMO, quarterly payments to the pension funds. You may hear Mike Whitaker talk about that from time to time when he's presenting budget items, but get quarterly about $250,000 paid into the fund as required by law by the borough. So as an agenda item, we just need a resolution to approve the MMO, and traditionally, at least since I've been here, we've always taken that lower number and used it as our number for the MMO.
Okay, any other questions or comments? Okay, agenda item.
Moving on to roads, equipment, and grounds, item number 11. DJ GEDTF, Gaming and Economic Development Funds used for grant purposes. So this program is open. If you want to describe what staff is proposing for this application.
Sure. Essentially, earlier this year, we created a package of what we're calling Holiday Park Phase 4 stormwater projects. We considered several different small projects so that it would be more scalable should we not receive the full grant award we requested. This project at the intersection of Surfside and O Block, it includes a large diameter culvert, some inlets, and some smaller diameter pipe that, based on the cost proposal, were too expensive to include into that Phase 4 of Holiday Park stormwater. So we opted to sit on it, and when this grant became available, we're submitting that one, or we have submitted that one through the Turtle Creek Valley COG to the county for the GEDTF grant. Just for a rough number of the funds, the grant request is $236,640. The Plum Boro contribution, if we would be awarded that full grant, is 10% of that, $23,664, and that's based on the total construction cost estimate of $260,304. And again, that's our match would be based on what we could get back off of the county. As this really isn't a scalable project, if we would proceed, we would be responsible to pay the rest of that out of our things like the flood mitigation fund.
So DJ, this project that we're proposing, this is the culvert at the corner of O Block and Surfside?
Yeah, the culvert runs more or less under Surfside, which is just south of that intersection where O Block makes the 90-degree bend at the intersection. And in that intersection, there's 3 storm inlets with a shallower 15-inch pipe And as part of this project, we would replace those smaller pipes along with this larger culvert, pour concrete and walls and aprons on the upstream and downstream side of the culvert. And it would either be the cheaper of replacement or lining it in place with a technology. It's basically like spray painting your house, but they spray paint a plastic that in other words, creates a plastic pipe inside of the old metal pipe. And then the restoration of the pavement to go with it.
So we're recommending this as an agenda item, and just for general purposes, we're at the mercy of basically the DCED for when they award these grant requests. It could be in 2 months, it could be in a year. So entering budget season, we'll try and make this a 2026 project, but based on when these awards are made, if we are awarded anything, it could be a 2027 project. So you may not see it happening, but this is really, for the most part, we're being proactive with this, trying to make sure that that culvert is still usable for a number of years.
Yeah, and it typically the lining would be cheaper because this is such a large diameter pipe. That's where when we get further into it, we'll probably bid as an option that you can either do the full replacement or line it in place, and whatever the cheaper option is what we would go for.
What's the longevity on the line?
It's essentially like, and Charlie can chime in, it's essentially the same as a plastic pipe. It won't degrade other than the UV light that would hit it, and that's where the concrete aprons and abutments would come in.
Yeah, and just to add to DJ's point, doing the lining, it does have a long lifespan for the lining. This particular culvert is pretty deep, but by the time you get to the downstream side, so you're looking 15, 20 feet deep. By the time you dig that up, you're benching back in your roadway, and then that includes, the stone restoration, the pavings, and, we see this a lot in Holiday Park, the old, we call them tin whistle steel pipe. They're all starting to corrode on the bottom. So, we're trying to be proactive, look at these pipes where we can line it and get it done without digging it up.
Okay. Any other comments or questions? Okay, agenda item.
Last item under roads, equipment, and grounds, and last item for tonight's agenda is the 2025-26 Shaycog Rock Salt Agreement. As you know, we are a member of the Turtle Creek Valley COG, but we also participate in the Shaycog Purchasing Alliance. And for a number of years, we have joined in with, well over 100 other municipalities to bid the rock salt for the upcoming season. So if you're looking at your OneNote packet, Shaycog opened bids. There were 3 bidders: Compass Materials, Cargill, and Morton. Cargill's been a big name over the last few years. Morton, not so much, but they have been awarded the contract in the past. You can see that the award amount is $88.32 per ton, and that's per ton delivered to us. That is an increase of 75 cents per ton over the previous contract. So certainly not too bad of an increase. Prior to this contract coming out, we worked with Shaycog to estimate the number of tons we would use for the winter season, and we're obligated to take 80% of that number, and I think we're capped at about 120%. So if we need additional salt, it's available, but only up to about 120% of our estimates. So we do have salt in our shed, and I know I say this, whether it's true or not, it doesn't seem like it snows anymore, but certainly we have a lot of mornings and evenings with ice where our crews are out making the roads safe with the salt. So staff is recommending that council put this on their agenda for Monday for approval of the Shaycog bid at $88.32 a ton.
Okay, questions or comments?
Farmer's Almanac Day. Just say,
What's it calling for?
calling for a big one.
Is it really?
Bad winter, yeah.
All right, any other comments on agenda item number 12? Okay, that'll be an agenda item.
So I think we're at the end of the agenda, but I would just say I believe that council is going back into executive session to discuss an item related to real estate, and that I do not believe council will be returning to this room to make any other announcements or decisions.